Buenas tardes. First of all, I want to say congratulations to Louis. This was a dream a long time ago, and it's through Louis' leadership that we are here today. So as our president, I wanted to say, Louis, thank you very, very much. I have the honor and pleasure of introducing Dr. Timothy P. White, the Chancellor of California State University System. Dr. White began his tenure as the 7th Chancellor at the CSU just over a year ago in December 2012. During that time, he has visited all 23 campuses in the system, meeting with students, faculty, staff, alumni, and stakeholders. He is truly committed to listening to the diverse voices that make up the great California State University. In his recent State of the CSU address, he set a bold vision for the future, and he committed to investing an additional $50 million in areas that will directly advance student achievement and high-quality degree completion. He shared that California needs 1 million more graduates by 2025. To that end, part of that vision states that we will increase graduation of first-time, full-time freshmen by 10% and transfer students by 5% in the next 10 years. He is extremely passionate about student success in graduation, especially for historically underrepresented students. You see, Chancellor White himself is a product of the California Master Plan for Higher Education. He is a first-generation college student, like many of us and like many of our students. He was born in Argentina, immigrated with his parents to Canada, and then to California. He began his studies at Diablo Valley Community College before earning his bachelor's degree from Fresno State, a master's degree from Cal State East Bay, and his PhD from UC Berkeley. On a personal note, he is married to Dr. Karen White and has 4 sons. And I will tell you, when he visited the 23 campuses, what's not on his resume, at Dominguez Hills, he was breakdancing with the students, and at Cal State Fullerton, he was line dancing with my students. So he really enjoys being with students. Chancellor White is committed to the CSU mission. He is student-centered and firmly believes that a college education transforms lives and improves all of our communities. You know, I had the pleasure and honor to serve on the advisory committee for the recruitment of the CSU Chancellor, and while it was extremely competitive, I can say with assurance that the board chose the very best candidate who is leading the CSU into the future. Please join me in welcoming to the podium Dr. Timothy White.
Well, I want to start. It was really a very gracious introduction, a lot better than Williams, who said it was a congested program. But nonetheless, I'll thank William and Louis for the opportunity, and Millie, of course. Being a life scientist, when I think of congestion, I think of all sorts of things, so I will go there. A warm welcome to California, and especially many of you have traveled from the East or from the Midwest, where you've had not too many sunny days of this winter. We would appreciate some of the moisture that's landed in your part of the country, but not some of these cold temperatures. And our welcome of warmth is both figurative as well as literal. The sunshine that you will find probably after 11 o'clock if you go out tomorrow and over the weekend, but also the sunshine you will find by re-engaging with old colleagues and finding new ones, and particularly connecting to our young fellows who I had the privilege of spending an hour with earlier this afternoon. You know, it's fitting that this conference does take place in California for so many reasons, and you've heard some of them already. But our beautiful state is home to 30% of America's Hispanic population. And in California, the colleges and universities here educate 1/3 of all Hispanics who get degrees in higher education across this country. And so it's here in California, among many other places as well, but in California, for Hispanic students, Hispanic first-generation students, and becoming college graduates and making their mark in every industry that we serve in. And you may be surprised to know that the CSU provides 47% of the engineers that enter the workforce in California, so 95% of the people who go into the entertainment and hospitality industry. And when you think of agriculture and all the other industries, high tech, it's really quite an amazing engine for our California industries and businesses.
You know, we have 23 campuses. I like to think of it, I have to think of it as a 1,000-mile-long campus from the north coast in Arcata, where Humboldt State is, down to the Mexican border where San Diego State and San Marcos are close, and from the ocean into the Nevada border. And in that great system, we have 135,000 Hispanic students in the CSU, well over 30% of our student body. And we award 21,000 baccalaureate degrees a year to Hispanic students and over 3,300 advanced degrees, master's degrees, applied doctoral degrees, et cetera, to Hispanics. And I say we award them, to be honest, they earn them. They work with our faculty, they work day and night, and as many of you know personally and in your institutions know, that many of these students carry life as well as academics and a full life of employment and taking care of children and taking care of elders in addition to pursuing their studies. The CSU writ large is the first choice for Hispanic students in California. Among 23 campuses, 15 of our campuses are federally designated as Hispanic serving institutions, and there's several others are on the cusp of getting that designation as well. But I think what I'm most proud about, well, it's hard to know. I mean, for a guy like me to have the opportunity to serve California, really America's higher education from this post is really quite a privilege, and I still think they screwed up, but until they figure that out, I'll keep going. But I think I'm really proud about we're on, and it's not just a marketing thing. It's not just a way we talk about it. It's a real thing, that we're stopping crowing about what our student body pie chart looks like. And we're starting to crow always about who our alumni look like and what they're doing. And that's just not a semantic difference. That's a substantive difference about the aspiration and the success of the California State University. Now, I know and we know, and I'd be unwise to say we didn't have a lot of work in front of us to continue to improve our rate of success. But we're abandoning the term access. Now, don't throw me out yet, because in its original form, the word access meant you get into a university or a college. Well, that's not enough. We're changing the word access now to access to complete a degree, because that's forcing our faculty and our staff and our students and our legislators and our public at large to know that access really means, yes, you get into the campus you're interested in. When you get there, you get the classes you need when you need them. You get the advisor you need when you need them. You get the office hour you need when you need it. You can go to financial aid and get help when you need it. You can find a club or a research experience or a creative arts experience or a theater experience or a music experience or a sport experience to feel like you're part of a micro community in a macro institution. So access has multiple levels, as you know. But if we don't shine the light on all those multiple levels and how each one of those pieces of the ecosystem leads to success of our students, particularly those who come from low income, and particularly from those who come as first generation, and when you put those two variables together, it is more often than not causal, but definitely coincidental. More often than not, those are students of color. And so when we talk about undergraduate research, and I had a wonderful conversation with one of our faculty members who's a civil engineer about how undergraduate research is a proxy for keeping students of color engaged and persisting and working on to degree, and I agree with that. I agree with that, and I think we have to, I know we are in the CSU among these wonderful group of presidents who I get to touch all the time and talk with. We're thinking deeply about this whole ecosystem rather than just one piece of the elephant at any given time. Now, we know we have work to do on college preparedness and what we can do as a university. We have it may not be our fault, but it is certainly our problem. And we are reaching back into the public schools and into the communities and down into middle schools and elementary schools and into churches and synagogues in order to reach students and their families well before they get too far along and don't start thinking about preparing for college. You know, just this month is Black History Month. I know this is AAHHE, but one example is that we had campus presidents and myself and other leaders from the chancellor's office and from the campuses in 110 African American churches in California in the month of February during their main service on Sunday morning. And those pastors and reverends allowed us 10 minutes or so to talk to the congregation. And some of these congregations are 3,000, 4,000. And if you've ever been to a Black Baptist church, you know you have a lot of fun. But they were very keenly interested on the power of education. And I'll come back to some of the specific things we've been doing with the Latino population as well. But this issue of preparedness was probably the reason that I was invited, as others were, to the White House College Opportunity Summit last month, led by the President and Mrs. Obama. And during that time, there was a gathering of public and privates, some business leaders and some foundation leaders, to think about ways in which we can work collectively without legislation, but just based on the spirit of human beings, to come together and think more deeply about students who need a little more help in preparedness in order for them to get into college and university and then get to degree. And I think we were there, and we made some commitments there as well to help more students prepare so they can succeed. But it is, in fact, everybody's job to reach out and to help that happen, to get the full potential. You know, these students that we have, they have the intellect equivalent of anybody's. They just come from an environment where that intellect hasn't had a chance to be developed or expressed. And part of, as Louis said, part of the success of America will be to make sure that this group of students also have the opportunities, because we can't do it without them. It's not a matter of America succeeding without low income, without Latino, without other underrepresented minorities having the chance to get these degrees and earning these degrees. And so, as Millie said, we've made a commitment at CSU to infuse $50 million here in the near term to focus on one thing and one thing only, and that is to get more students to a high quality degree sooner. It's pretty simple to say. It's going to be difficult to do. Because when we do that, that means that individual student gets on with whatever's next, med school or a job, sooner. But it also, in a system like ours, allows another student to get in sooner and finish sooner. And when we look at the gap in California, by 2025, there is a gap projected at today's rate of degree production, a gap of 1 million degrees missing to support the California economy. And so we in the University of California and the privates and the others are all going to have to work together to meet that challenge for us. But I'm going to invest this money in places that really matter. I'm going to allow the campuses to decide what matters most for them. I'm pretty clear in my view of how a system should work, clear on a goal, clear on accountability, but loose on the means for campuses to get there. So Millie's campus might do it one way and Bill's campus might do it another way, but they both better succeed at moving the needle on things that matter to California. We're going to invest in tenure track faculty hiring, and I heard a number today that I think is accurate, because two different people who I both respect most of the time told it to me. We have something like 770 tenure track searches going on as I speak right now. CSU has not searched for tenure track faculty at this level in a long, long time. And it tells you, A, that the economy is a little bit better, but B, it also means that our presidents are turning the dials on their campuses and our faculty are responding and the deans are responding to say, look, in order to be the kind of university that we need to be, we need to get more of these permanent full-time professorial faculty in our system, and we do that one hire at a time. Faculty hiring, enhanced advising, both people and technology, eliminating bottleneck courses. You know, we've done a big survey and found a whole host of classes that are bottlenecks for one reason or another, not enough space, too great of failure rates. So no matter how much space you had, you'd still have high failure rates. Those courses are getting redesigned, infusing technology where it makes sense, and it makes sense in some places and not others. We're going to invest in high-impact practices, service, learning, research. We certainly want to get better at data-driven decision-making at the campus and system level. And finally, we're going to work hard on that community college transfer rate, although you might be interested to know that on any given year, half of our new students come from the California community colleges, about 57,000, and the other half come from high school. So we can and we will meet this challenge in California for more graduates, and we'll only do it by making sure that the broad swath of society who has the intellect and aptitude and willingness to do the work has a chance. We also do preparedness partnerships with a lot of organizations. In PK, many of you know that Parent Institute for Quality Education. Well, here in California, we've trained almost 70,000 parents to help keep their kids focused on taking that math class, taking that writing class. We call them A to G requirements. I never know which one's A and which one's G, but they're all the basic stuff, right? And we've worked in 1,000 school sites. So we go out with PK, and we've done this now for 9 years with our 23 campuses. It's an amazing, because if the family understands what has to happen and the student hears it, and then the schools hear it, and the churches and synagogues hear it, then these kids can't get away from it, right? Go to school, stay in school, get good grades, and take these kinds of classes of substance. The SL Momento partnership, we have a wonderful partner with Univision, one of the national model for Spanish-speaking parents, to get how Latino parents can learn about financial aid, its opportunities for them here in California, and what kind of things from pre-K through university life that they need to know as Spanish-speaking parents to support their children in California. You know, I went to the fair at Dominguez Hills campus, the same place I learned to break dance. What I didn't know when I did the break dance was the LA Times was there with a photographer. And if you ever have either too much tequila to drink or nothing else to do, you go to the LA Times, and it was an above-the-fold front page picture, 2/3 above the folds, of me breakdancing. I'm sorry, Mom. But perhaps the more impressive thing, if you ever see that picture, is all the students that were standing there, the smiles on their faces with their iPhones out, and the fact that they've got, you know, a guy like me in an important job, but who can also get down and need therapy. But this SL Momento at Dominguez Hills, when I went, had 35,000 people at it. 35,000 on a Saturday. And if you go up and, you know, so they're all over the campus and they're lined up to get into meetings about financial aid and this, that, and the other thing. And if you ask a parent, you know, and this is the parent whose fingers are green and who's a little hunched over and is wearing a canvas hat and a canvas shirt because they're a landscaper here in California. And if you ask them, why are you spending 2.5 hours to stand in line to go learn about FAFSA forms, they'll say in their way, because I want my kid to have a life different than what I have. And that's the sacrifice that these parents are so hungry to give, to do and to give to their kids. All they need is information. It is an amazingly moving event to see an SL Momento. And Millie Garcia is the madrina of this project, and we're also doing it not only at Dominguez Hills in the LA Basin, but in Sacramento and Fresno now, and probably will expand to other campuses up Channel Islands, up in the Ventura County, Santa Barbara area as well. We're also in the 10th year of collaboration with the Hispanias Organized for Political Equality, HOPE, and we work with the HOPE's Youth Leadership Through Literacy program to prepare low-income high school Latinas for a self-sufficient future. Our students draw a lot of inspiration from HOPE, particularly knowing that the founding president, Maria Contreras Sweet, is now the head of the Small Business Administration. And we talked about this with the fellows earlier as well, that when a youngster sees somebody like her, like him, in a position of faculty or a dean or a campus leader or a chancellor, president of San Antonio, I mean, all of these people you don't know who you're touching when they see you. They may never talk to you, but when they see somebody like them, it is an amazingly inspiring thing for our families. We also do a lot of work after our students graduate to try and keep an eye on them and guide them and keep the best of the best who are pursuing graduate degrees. We participate in the California Forums for Diversity in Graduate Education, which helps high-achieving undergraduate and master's level students who might be interested in pursuing a career, either academically or professional staff career in higher education. We offer the California Pre-Doctoral Program, which provides funding to support doctoral programs for CSU students from disadvantaged backgrounds who aspire to become faculty members. And we have a California Doctoral Incentive Program. It's really the largest program of its kind in California. We fund this out of our operating funds. We believe so strongly in it, that offers loans for doctoral studies. And if that doctoral student goes off and studies at Cornell and comes back and teaches in the CSU, we're going to forgive that loan. So it's a huge incentive, and it makes the cost of graduate work affordable for those who otherwise would not have the resources. And so once these people have their degrees, we'd like to get them back. We'd like to help them to go somewhere else and get them back, or they start with us and go on somewhere else. It really, I think we're in it to help the nation succeed, but to help California succeed as well. And as I chatted with the fellows earlier on, there's one thing I always like to mention on recruiting faculty into our systems, especially those who come from positions of poverty or positions of low income or positions of color, is recruiting is the easy part. It's the retention piece. And there's this amazing opportunity and responsibility that we all have to make sure that that new person in our community feels welcomed and supported in a genuine way. Sometimes they come and they're single and the rest of the community our partners are married. Sometimes it's because of they're their first female in a science field and there's no other women in that department or in that college to feel like you can talk and socialize with. So when we talk about recruiting, I think we also have to talk about making those people succeed by making them know that they are welcomed and supported, not only in their professional activities, but their private lives as well. You know, at the CSU, we're a little less than 9% of our faculty are Hispanic. Almost 6% of our deans are Hispanic. About 12% of our vice presidents across the system are Hispanic, and nearly 33% of our sitting presidents are Hispanic. And so we've made good progress when it comes to representation, but it's always a work in progress. And so if you're a young Hispanic faculty member who wants Millie's job, come talk to me. You have to wait a while. She's still pretty young, so 30 or 40 years from now you can have her job. But also if you're a young faculty member, there's a lot of presidents, some in this room and others, and the others I mentioned, who could be role models. And I'll tell you what, if you know of somebody by name, even if you don't know them personally, if you send them an email, they'll be more than happy to talk to you. I think our faculty and our academic leadership has an amazing passion and compassion for helping those that are around us and behind us in time to succeed. Somebody helped us along the way. We're always ready to help somebody else along the way, and you don't have to look very far in the CSU. We have work to do. We can never rest easy on this. I hope this conference turns out to be as congested and fulfilling as William said, that you have choices. You have hard choices of what sessions you're going to go to. That's always a sign of a good conference. But that you also have a time to sit around in the informal sessions and have those meaningful one-on-one or one-on-five conversations that make a conference so wonderful. I appreciate the invitation, Louis and William, to be here, and I'm honored and privileged, and I wish you well.